Welcome back to the Nova Hoopcast. We're here at Heritage High School in Leesburg, Virginia. Before we wrap things up this week, Kevin, one of the questions we're asked a lot is why we don't cover private school basketball. And I don't think we have anything against private school basketball. I coached at Paul VI for 10 years. You were there with me. That's where we first met each other. Certainly outstanding basketball in the private schools. It's just kind of a different animal. And I started to think about it this week. Many of you probably saw the article that Samantha Pell wrote in the Washington Post about the WCAC and how money has really started to influence that in recruiting and national recruiting. And they talked about, I believe, a $16 million donation that Kevin Plank, the founder of Under Armour and a St. John's grad, made to his alma mater, and the influence that that has had on athletics in that league. There's TV exposure, there's pressure to win. I think there's full-time coaches. A number of them probably have shoe contracts and things of that nature. They've got St. John's as a quarterback that came from Hawaii. They had one in the past that came from out of state. And so there's a lot of pressure to win. There's a lot of money influencing things. TV is influencing things. And you can argue whether that's good or bad. Certainly the level of athletics in the WCAC is outstanding, especially football and basketball. We would love to coach players like that. It's enjoyable to watch players like that. But to me, it's more like college basketball. It's really kind of adopted the college basketball model. And that's different from what we played. It's different from what we coached. And I think for me, I really still enjoy the public school model where for the most part, kids grow up in a community and they want to play for Heritage or they want to play for Riverside or they want to play for Centerville or Fairfax where they grew up. And I'm not naive. I know there's plenty of recruiting and things that go on the public school level as well. But I think they're almost like I said, it's like truer high school basketball in the public schools. In leagues like the WCAC, I think it's more like a college basketball model. And again, we can talk about whether it's right or wrong or good or bad, but I think, my heart is more with public school basketball.
And I agree with you, Brian. I mean, we're public school educators. You've retired after 30 years. I'm in my 25th year, and what we like about high school basketball is exactly what you said. You playing for your community, you playing for your town. I mean, we're not naive, and we do understand that things have changed a lot, whether we like it or not, but it is a different animal, and I think our comfort level's always been with what we know. And we were at Paul VI, and we were at Paul VI before they did a whole lot of recruiting. They were in the WCAC the first couple of years, and we were there, and we were working with the kids who came through the door as opposed to the kids who were recruited, and things have changed a lot. But, you mentioned the resources they have there. They have, somebody who's responsible for strength training. Somebody's responsible for study hall. You have so many more resources because that's why those kids come there. And it's very good for those kids who are the elite and deserve to be at a school where that's where they can perform at the highest level. What we see in our level is a lot of kids who I'm calling boomerang kids who go and come right back.
Right.
Because they go for 2 years to see how things are going to work. And what ends up happening a lot is they get recruited over. You get another freshman coming in who's taking your spot. And we're more than happy to have them come home, as Wendell Bird used to say. He would embrace that. And I think as a high school coach, you do have to embrace it. You can't shun those kids who leave your program to go somewhere else because there's a good chance they might be coming back. And Paul VI is going to be moving into Loudoun County, down by South Riding in the southern part of the county. And we'll be interested to see how that changes not only the landscape of their programs, because they're a little bit closer to DC and transportation, and how change the landscape of Loudoun County basketball. So it's a good point, but we cover what we know and what we love, and for our reasons, not for anything negative about anybody else. But you're right. It's turned into a different animal, as has all of high school sports.
True.
And youth sports. The over-commercialization of sports is just everywhere. You see it from little kids specializing and getting gear that only the varsity kids used to get.
Right,
That's changed a lot as well. But you made some good points, and we're happy where we are, which is the bottom line. We're happy with what we do. We're happy with what we know. No knock to anybody else.